In the summer of 2010, I was approached by a very unusual man. The story of that contact is described by him in this interview. I've called him Charles. He spent many years working for the elite group that considers it their responsibility to run the planet. He's not an academic, a historian, or a scientist. But he wanted to communicate some important information about the worldview and philosophy of this group from their point of view, what they're trying to achieve, why, and how. He and I have established a friendship based on mutual respect. In this interview, Charles explains his own agenda. What he wants to see is what he calls a fair contest. There's a great deal of material that was not covered in this interview. It is, to some degree, the start of a dialogue. The group of 33 that Charles works with is indirectly using this opportunity to communicate. I've reported this communication as accurately as possible. As is normal journalistic practice, some of the information was asked to be off record at this stage. As you watch this interview, you will see that there are a great many unanswered questions. I would like there to be a further interview, but any decision about this is not mine to make. For me, the second half of 2010 has been an interesting time. It's culminated in this opportunity to communicate indirectly through this video and through Charles himself with the group of people who are running the planet. And this is what I'd like to take this opportunity to say. I understand the history and context that Charles has explained, some of which is in this interview. But there is another way. If you are to be the true leaders of the planet, you can be the captains of Spaceship Earth with responsibility for the entire human family. There can be a massive cleanup operation. You know that the technology exists. Between us all, this can be done. Clean water, clean air, clean oceans, free energy, abundant wildlife, health and education for every human being. Planet Earth could be a paradise planet, a model for this sector of the galaxy. The human race is a massive long-term experiment. This information, confirmed by yourselves via Charles, will not be new to many of those watching this video. Charles has explained that the extraterrestrial race who initiated this project are letting everything unfold with a philosophy of non-interference. It's arguable that the optimum conclusion for all, an outcome that would delight those whose project this is, would be for the human race to take responsibility for itself and show just what they can do. Your legacy to remain for time immemorial, here and elsewhere, could be: we cleaned up the mess. We inspired and funded the world's brightest and best from every nation to work together to solve the problems. We fully restored this beautiful, magnificent jewel of this solar system. Look what we did when the entire human family, organized, focused, and under inspired leadership, worked together to show just what could be done. So this is Bill Ryan from Project Avalon, and it is Saturday the 18th of December 2010. And this is one of the more interesting interviews that I've ever had the privilege of conducting. With me is a man who I've given the pseudonym Charles. And as the name suggests, he's very English. And for reasons that will become apparent as you start to watch this video, he has graciously declined from being filmed with his face on camera. You will hear his voice, which will be unedited and unfiltered, and what Charles has to tell us on record may be one of the more important stories that you will have heard for quite a long time. And this is very unrehearsed, as they all are. And first thing I want to do, Charles, is to thank you. And I really mean that, because I didn't know this was going to happen until it actually happened. And as an introduction to our viewers here who are only seeing the back of your head, what are you willing to say about who you are, the nature of how we connected with each other, and the nature of your work?
Well, if you want to start with who I am, you'd need to start quite early on, wouldn't you?
Okay.
Because otherwise it doesn't make sense how someone from Hackney gets to where he is.
And for the benefit of the Americans, where's Hackney?
It's basically, if you're a Cockney, you're born within the sound of Bow Bells, and I was born in the Bow mother's home, so I'm a Cockney. It's in East London, and that's where I am. I'm a Cockney. But I'm from a very working class family, but I haven't ended up in a working class situation through my own determination. And some would object to the kind of determination I've used, and they'd be quite right. So I didn't go through usual avenues, shall we say. But in early life I started as a football hooligan. I was then recruited by a fascist organisation. I realised as my education grew, your education grows in life. And as I got older and wiser, I realised that I was actually more useful to them than they were to me.
And you were being watched this whole time, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, yeah. Right from a very early age. I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that until many, many years later. And I know that you've had other people that you've spoken to in the same situation.
Yep.
And I wasn't aware of it. And it was quite... Well, it wasn't a shock to find out, actually, because I always knew that there was something odd about me. And you hear that a lot. You hear a lot of people, you know, I'm saying it with realism. There really was something odd about me. I think, well, you've met me. What do you think?
I think there's something very odd about you.
Okay, so...
I say that as a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me, odd sounds disparaging.
Okay.
Let us say unusual or even special.
Okay.
Would that be fair words to use?
Yeah, I'm not really into blowing my own trumpet in that respect, you know. Odd seems happy to me. My vocabulary isn't as good as yours, so
let's say that
I'm not formally educated.
That's not a crime at all, and it's not your fault.
But I'll play you chess.
And you probably win.
I'll give you a run for your money.
I bet you would. But you have talents and abilities and characteristics that are unusual.
Yeah.
Would that be a way of describing
Yeah.
it? Yes, rather than say odd.
Yeah.
Let's say that you have particular abilities that attracted the attention of some people who had reason to call upon those abilities later. Is that right?
I have natural abilities, and that doesn't make me special. There are others like me, you know. You've got athletes, etc.
I thought this knife was a scam. My dad thought it was a $300 gift. I was this close.
Athletes, etc. Thinkers, maybe, you know. But yeah, I'm fairly quick in a very stressful situation. I'm not big of physical stature, but that doesn't matter at all.
And you haven't been in the military, have you?
Never.
But you're the kind of person who the military would love to get their hands on and turn into one of the...
My natural father was very high up in the military.
Okay. But you're probably the kind of person that the SAS would love to get their hands on.
They are physical soldiers. They wouldn't have a chance against me because they'd already be ill before they even met me.
Right.
I would weaken them before I dealt with them.
Right.
They're playing a completely different game. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to win. You know.
Yeah. It's all over before they turn up, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I would already have done my homework long before that.
Okay. So we were talking about that because what I was trying to do is to paint a picture of your characteristics, and one of the ways to describe your role is a kind of quasi-military role.
Fair to say.
Is there anything that you would like to continue saying about how you let's say, what happened between those younger years when you weren't sure about what was going on in your own life, but you became increasingly aware that there was something going on around you, and other people seemed to know something about you that you didn't. And then sometime between then and now, all of that came into focus.
That's right. Well, where do you want to start? How far do you want to go back?
We've got all the time in the world here. People watching this will be fascinated already.
So in England, at that point in time in England, there was you had reform schools. They were commonly known as borstalls, and I spent some time in those. In fact, that's where I got any education that I did get, because it was drummed into me. It was the only way that I would listen long enough to be taught to read and write, etc. Because an ordinary school, what was also figured out was, interesting or not, I never paid attention at school. And considering what I said to you earlier on when we were off camera about numbers, I did a maths O-level. And the reason I did the maths O-level was I was in something, I was being segregated while they were figuring out what to do with me. So I was literally in a cell in the school most of the time, and they decided, a teacher that would, for some reason, was interested in me. It becomes apparent at a later date why he was and who he was. Decided to sit a maths O-level for me, and I got 87%. So it wasn't the fact that I couldn't be educated, it was the fact that I didn't want to be educated.
Right.
And I didn't even really know, because sometimes it enthralled me, school, and then other times it didn't. And obviously now with hindsight I know why, because what you learn in school is complete rubbish.
Sure.
Total rubbish.
And I would agree with that.
Well, I think it's pretty generally known. You know?
Yep.
We want you to think that way, and that's that. And I bash anything off like that. Anything that I feel is constricting or someone's trying to control me will get a natural response from me, which is no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Which can be detrimental to me at times, because it's something I might need to know.
The picture that you're painting here is of a kid who's smart, who's uncontrollable, who can handle himself in any situation whatsoever, who and who's been watched from a very early age because of certain characteristics that he's not aware that he's got at this stage. And then, as I was saying, sometime between then and now, sometime in those years, those 10, 20 years, then things did become clear for you, and you found yourself a niche where you were able to do a job for some pretty important people, and you fitted the template that they were looking for to handle some problems really well. Is that a good description?
Yeah, it is. Apart from the find myself a niche, I didn't find myself a niche. It was very apparent that that's what I was being groomed for.
Right. Can you describe how you were approached? How it was
I wasn't
that you
actually approached.
Okay.
I was in the right place. I was in that casino. I was seen in that casino, betting that kind of money.
All right.
I was at that cocktail party. I provided things for a party.
So you're actually rubbing shoulders with these guys without realising it.
Obviously, there was because the word gangster is bandied around about all over the place now, and that's not what I was. I didn't consider myself a gangster. I considered myself someone that does that sort of thing.
Okay.
Just like a teacher teaches, or soldiers.
Yes.
I did bad things.
Yeah.
And I didn't look any further into it than that.
Yeah.
And in doing those things, in fact, the first instance that I was asked to by someone important was to deal with a paedophile.
Okay.
So there's some, there'll be people in your audience who would applaud that.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it was just another person, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
It was basically, they had a nanny, and the nanny was fiddling with things he shouldn't have been fiddling with, and they wanted him dealt with, and that was the first instance.
Okay.
Where I was really asked to do anything serious.
And a euphemistic way of describing this is that you became very useful in making problems go away.
Yes.
Is that a way to describe it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But maybe you could go a little, you need to go back. It doesn't even become a problem when I'm involved.
Okay.
As soon as someone realises that they may see a situation come in a month's time, that's when I'm involved. And the situation never even arises. Like
to head the problems off before they become problems?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then you can, the earlier you deal with a problem, the less forceful you have to be. And any force or any real major action will attract attention, and you don't want any attention. That's the golden rule.
Okay.
No attention.
Gotcha. So if you're scrambling around trying to put out a fire, then it means that you've missed something that you should have done earlier on.
Yeah, you know, someone walked in there with matches. Why did you let him?
Right. So fast forward a few years to the point where you really began to knowingly rub shoulders with what some of the people watching this would call the elite.
The minute you do a favour for one person, and it was gratis, favour, no money changes hands.
Right.
As soon as you're willing to play that game, you've already...
then you start getting referred.
You've entered, entered into a contract.
The guy says, you got a problem? I can help you.
Yeah.
The guy helped me last week. I think he's good.
Yeah.
And so on.
he'll keep his mouth shut.
And
he won't do something stupid like shoot someone.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And I learned very early on that the best way to deal with people is financially.
Yes.
And in the most mundane ways.
And you told me...
and that is part of my character, the way I'm quite devious like that. And they love that.
Yes. About a month or two ago when we were talking, you told me, I think these are the words you said that you skin many cats perfectly legally using totally legal means.
I would say 90%, literally 90% of the things I've done are completely legal.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because people leave vulnerabilities in their lives.
Well, everyone's human, you know, people take drugs, they like women that they shouldn't like when they're married. If you have women at your disposal who owe you favours, it's very easy to ask them to do that. And we're talking about people that don't have the moral values. Not that I'm not being detrimental to them in saying that, because I don't have those either. In fact, right and wrong, as far as I'm concerned, don't exist. They don't exist in my world. It's just a complete fabrication to make everybody feel guilty about what they're doing. There is no right and wrong. There's just what comes next. We try and look back on it and decide whether it was right or wrong. We don't think like that. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. When you say we don't think like that, who's we?
Well, that's a big question, isn't it? Do you want to talk about the end result of who I'm involved with? Or do you want to talk about how I got there? Because you're going to work backwards. It doesn't bother me, but...
Well, there are various ways into this. I mean, it's a fascinating story, and there are lots of details that I'm hearing here for the first time.
Okay.
Although, actually, we've talked for hours. And I've been more than intrigued by the story that you have shared with me, because it gives an insight into how some things operate that I never had before. This is one of the reasons why I'm very grateful that you're recounting this story for people to hear, because it's going to be an eye-opener for a lot of people about the real world. And the way that I hear you describing yourself is that you've got your feet planted in the real world, you deal with the real world, and that's what you're good at.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in the real world. Where you live, well, not so much you, but where everyone else lives, it's just a complete fabrication. It really is. And you know, they know, everyone knows. They just don't want to look at it. They'd rather face the water and not look at what's coming up from behind and just accept it when it hits them. Most people will keep their eyes on the water. They won't turn around to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss, is what I'm saying.
That's something we can get onto later, which is something that I really want you to talk about. I'd love you to cover the intervening years.
Okay.
Very briefly, until we get to the point, and this is just a little trailer of a bit to follow, actually when you first contacted me, because I was a problem that needed to be headed off.
That's right, yeah. You actually became a problem.
I became a problem.
Yeah.
And so that's how we made contact with each other, and I would like to say that we have become friends since then. I'm certainly enjoying your company well enough to call you a friend. Haven't played you snooker yet. I don't think I'll stand much of a chance.
We'll see.
But between that point and the point that you're talking about just now, when you're starting to be recommended to people because you're good at handling things quietly, and efficiently and effectively.
With a minimum amount of fuss.
With a minimum amount of fuss.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. With none to clean up, nothing to embarrass people, etc., etc.
For instance, I had plenty of people at my disposal to do things for me. And yet none of them even knew what I was really involved in, and I would always deal with these situations myself, personally, without involving anyone else.
Yeah.
That's the kind of discretion that's needed, and you've got to understand at that point, I didn't have to. I could easily have pointed the finger, but the way they would have dealt with it would have been ridiculous.
Yes.
And that's the very reason that
Yes.
I was brought along like I was, because I understood
Yes.
the fuss was not needed.
Yes, and you became sort of, in a weird kind of way, you became respected and trusted by them.
Yeah, I am trustworthy.
Yes.
If you ask me to do something, I will get it done.
You will do it.
If I've said I will, it will happen.
Right.
If I may say no, but they will know. But if I've said yes, it will happen.
Right.
If you want to call that trust, well, fine. I call it my word. Some people have asked me to do things for them, and I'm already working on them for someone else. Do they trust me? Am I trustworthy to them?
Right. It's all compartmentalized. Right.
Isn't everything?
Well, isn't everything.
Go to work at ICI. See
Yeah.
if the guy at the paint counter knows what the managing director's
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so can you cover those intervening years? I mean, this is like a huge life story.
Yeah, this is the thing. You've got to understand. In some weeks, several things happened, and those weeks aren't unusual.
Yeah.
And the way you view time, I do not view time. For instance, you could ask me a date when something happened or what age I was. I have to really think, because it just doesn't bother me. I don't care how old I am.
Yeah, sure.
The length of time I'm on this planet is the length of time I'm on this planet. I don't care where we are in that at any point.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
So because I don't put those markers, it's very hard for me when someone asks me a direct question from their world to give them an answer that is relevant for them in time, because I don't look at it like that.
I understand. Okay.
And nor do they.
That is interesting.
My life is sequential. Everything is sequential.
Everything happens in sequence. Everything's sequence driven.
Part of the fabrication is the calendar and the clock.
Right. Yeah.
Scientists talk about time. They talk about time, but time's only been around for how long? Did summer still come, winter still come?
Yes.
Before the clock was invented? Of course it did.
Of course.
Winter's late this year. I laugh at things like that when I hear things like that.
Yeah.
Because winter's not late. Just the cage you put it in isn't working.
Yes.
Winter's not late.
I completely understand what you're saying. It's like a Buddhist actually saying it is the way that it is. So everything else is just a linguistic.
Right.
Yeah, this is a
Why
linguistic.
do you think they're persecuted so much?
Right. Okay. So the intervening time, whether it's elastic or not, between the time when you started getting referred, between some people, and I'm not asking you to name names here, and I understand it would not be appropriate to do so, but some of the people who you work closely with are names who people would recognize in the public domain. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's not my intention here to dig into that area at all. I'm more interested in the larger picture and your role in it and what you can share to help people understand the world a little bit better, because you probably agree with me that people don't understand the world at all, right?
They don't.
They don't understand.
And it's not their fault.
It's not their fault, because people have been misguided, misled, misdirected.
Every step of the way.
Every step of the way. We've been lied to, we've been tricked, we've been deceived, we've been, you name it. We've been kind of made fools of for a long time.
Absolutely, yeah, through no fault of your own.
Yeah.
And I'll be prudent to point out that all the individuals that would recognise me from this video have absolutely nothing to worry about. They already know they haven't.
Yes.
Because of what I said earlier.
Yes.
But it would be prudent to point that out.
Yes.
Because there could be some very nervous people running around making decisions that are just going to get them in more trouble.
Yes, that's absolutely okay. And on record here, as I've told you off record, in making this video with you, it's not my intention to dig into those areas, to cross any lines that I shouldn't cross, to embarrass anybody, or to even be disrespectful, because there's a very subtle and important big picture here, which is really where I want to get to.
Absolutely. This part is fairly inconsequential.
Yeah.
It's interesting maybe, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's background.
It's background, and it may be that by now the people watching this are already wondering why it is that you have got yourself into a place where you're able to point out, if you wanted to and if you could, to people how it is that the way they see the world is wrong, who it is who's really running things, why they're doing it that way, and who it is that you've really been working with through having become trusted and respected in that world to make problems go away.
To explain that, you'd have to explain. It's a very big picture, and you're not going to put that in a paragraph. Okay. It's very difficult to quantify like that. That's a hard question to answer.
It's a hard question.
You're asking who they are, why they've been doing what they are, and how long have I known them, all in one question.
I asked too many questions at once.
In one go.
Okay.
So
right. Okay, so let's back up a little bit here.
Okay.
It may be easiest to frame that around our first contact.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Why don't we build it around that?
Okay.
Because when we first talked to each other, I was asking you the kinds of questions that the people watching or listening to this will be asking right now.
Yeah, I understand that.
And so, can you say, why did you contact me when you did? Why did you do it?
I was told to contact you. Well, you arrived on my desk with half a dozen other things at that point. I didn't realise your relevance until I started to, well, perhaps I didn't realise your relevance until we started actually conversing. But then I've got to rewind a little bit, because I am also part of the problem, and I was fooled as much as anybody else until I did something that has left me slightly debilitated, as you well know.
Yes. Are you able to talk about that at all?
I don't mind about talking about how long I've got and that sort of thing. That doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I hooked myself up to something with the aid of someone else to educate myself about certain things that would be very advantageous, not even just financially, just generally advantageous to me. And the deal was done between that individual and me, because he could have got himself in a lot of trouble for doing what we did, and I could have. So we set up something, and it took over a year to set up for this, to get me in the right place at the right time, and the machine in the right frame of mind.
And you use those interesting words.
Because, and him.
Yes.
So it was a long time in the set, but it was a very cheap reason we did it. Okay, and it didn't go well, and it's left me terminally ill, and also left me with problems in my daily life, to deal with others, which we're experiencing right now. So when I did that, it changed my outlook in a way I didn't understand. That wasn't what I was setting out. I wasn't setting out to be sitting here. It was a dastardly deed, not a heroic one. Let's get that very clear. I'm not a hero, far from it. It was for financial and political gain. I did what I did. And it backfired.
And as a spin-off, it kind of deprogrammed you.
Absolutely, that's what it done, without doubt. Yeah, or over-programmed me.
Okay.
Which, I found myself being able to do things that I just couldn't possibly have any. I've got no background in that thing. Never been showed how to do it, and was doing it and putting a professional to shame.
Okay.
And not ever for instance, I've never played golf. It's actually been quite hard for me in business because I don't like golf.
Right.
Right. And someone persuaded me to take a round of golf with them at a very well-known golf course, a very hard golf course. And he played on that golf course most of his life, 3 or 4 days a week. And I slaughtered him. And I'd never played golf before in my life.
That's amazing.
So, well, it's just, you could say, beginner's luck. That's what was, because obviously I didn't do it again. It was the amount of attention that was drawn. And that I don't like, no fuss. So that was frowned on, doing that. And how could I do that? And it was frowned on by the other person that I did the deed with. Yeah. Because that's going to draw attention. It was quite out of character as well.
Yes.
But I didn't realise I was going to be able to do it.
Yes.
And I don't really remember very much about the game either. And this is the kind of thing that's been happening. I've found myself being able to do things, and I found myself not being able to do things that I used to be able to do very, very well.
Yes. So it's almost like, this is very rough. It's almost like downloading a program, and you didn't know what the program could do until it started running. Is that close? Do you want to say that again your own way?
Yeah, there wasn't any download as such. There was an interaction.
That was meant as a metaphor.
Okay, yeah. But you know, I understand why you've said that, and I understand why you use that metaphor, and you look at it like that because of the products that are available, you know, in any electronic store anywhere. But that's not what that machine does.
Okay.
That machine interacts with you.
Okay.
And you share things.
Right.
And some things are taken from you, and some things are given to you. So it's not a download, is it? It's a game of tennis.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And that leaves you affected afterwards.
Like it's a two-way communication
Absolutely,
thing that's
yeah,
going on a very deep level.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not completely convinced that link's still not there. It might, you know, for want of a better way of putting it, Bluetooth.
That's interesting. I gotcha,
And that's something that we haven't discussed before.
Like
I understand that, but and I'm not actually 100% sure that what I'm saying there is right.
Yeah. So, just to clarify what you're saying there, you're saying there might be like an ongoing remote connection which you're not always fully aware of.
Yeah, a mental connection that maybe isn't even deliberate on either part.
Okay.
Just as like a residual effect.
I gotcha.
So yeah, that golf's an example. There's been others.
Okay, so the reason why we were talking about...
So the reason we're talking about it is because how you...
About that.
Right, so then you are brought to my attention.
There's a setup, and at that point I'm just a name on
just
your...
another name.
Just another,
guy, you know,
another name.
Just some character in a funny hat that I've got to go and deal with, you know, and I've done some research. Well, the research is done for me. And then I looked into it, and yeah, fine. Just, you know, and to be honest, I saw you as a very easy person to deal with because you're not military. You've got no criminal elements to you. What you see is what you get. So I thought, you know, you're a stand-up guy. The stand-up guys are the easiest ones to deal with because they've got morals.
Okay.
You can hang someone on their morals just like that.
Okay.
They will do the right thing. You know, I told you a story about if you want to get to someone, you just have a cab pull up with a woman with a castle, right?
Yes.
And the good guy will go straight over and you're in.
Yeah.
It's easy. But if you're trying to deal with someone that isn't moralistic, he would just stand there and that won't work.
Yeah. What you're saying is that the stand-up guy, as you call them, is just very predictable.
Yeah.
And if you've got an opponent or a target who's very predictable, then it's dead easy
Yeah,
to
if
do
you're playing a
anything
game of chess and you know every move that person's going to make, it's not going to be much of a game, is it?
Yeah, right. Okay. So you thought it was going to be a pushover and you thought it was just going to... Or something like that?
Yeah, no, I thought it was going to be a pushover.
Okay.
No problem. I didn't think you'd take up more than a couple of days of my time.
Okay. So here we are 6 months later.
There you go. So...
What's happened at that point that caused...
Well, that education, shall we say, that interaction, basically, it was the golf situation again. I didn't approach it as I usually approach it. I was more thoughtful about it, which was unusual. Well, I'm always thoughtful about things because you've got to be careful. But I seem to be more worried about the individual than the task at hand, which is very unusual. And that's the first thing that pricked my ears to the situation. So I dragged my heels on that and conversed with you. And it put me in quite hot water.
And just for the record, this was in August of this year, 2010.
Yeah. So we conversed, and I was asked why I was entering into a dialogue with you and not just getting on with it. And I said, well, you're not the nut we thought you were, and I'm not going to be able to crack you the way I thought I was going to, and this is the way I'm going to do it, which was accepted because it's happened before, and that was an explanation. And I actually said that I'm going to bring you into my confidence, disinfo you, and make your credibility zero. That's what I was going to do. And so communication with you was then smiled upon. It's just, he is doing his job. That's no problem. The thing was, in talking to you, you changed my mind, and no one does that. And that's where I say that machine changed me.
To enable that to be possible. You mean the machine
changed? To listen to you.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going on, so why would I listen to you? But it turned out you do. Or you had an inclination. I'm sure there's many people like that. Then, as I dragged my heels eyebrows were raised because it's still, we'll move on a month.
Yeah.
Why is it still not dealt with? And what's more, some things he's doing are even more annoying. So it was it was realised that perhaps I wasn't going to do what I was meant to do, and you were given to other people. And those other people, well, see, they had tried to deal with you before me. Others had tried to.
They had tried to?
Yeah, and you had difficulties that you know.
Aha. Okay.
And it didn't work, so that's why I was... Because really, it was a bit of a sledgehammer to crack a walnut, to get me out of mothballs. You've got to understand, on a to go and deal with something, me actually at this point, it might be prudent to say that I didn't do that anymore. It was a little bit of a sledgehammer to crack a walnut.
Right.
Which is another reason that made you more of a spectacle for me to look at.
Yes. Are you able to say on record here that what you're referring to is that other people were deployed to interfere with the work that Kerry Cassidy and I were doing in Project Camelot? Are you able to say that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you're saying that...
And to interfere with your relationship, divide and conquer.
Yes. Okay. So, without going into those embarrassing details for individuals concerned, let's just say that happened, but then all that happened then was the amoeba split, and you could sort of say...
we had two problems.
Then he had two problems, because then he had Kerry doing her thing and me doing my thing.
Yeah, so that's when I was brought in, because it obviously wasn't working.
Right.
And that wasn't the way to deal with it.
Okay.
And then, as I said, your file dropped on my desk, and I started to do what I wanted. And then in our discourse, I realised that there was more to you than met the eye. I dragged my heels, wondered why you were such a issue, and the more I dragged my heels, the more uptight people that don't get uptight got, and that set some alarm bells off for me as well. And I whenever you see something like that, it's always a good idea to find out why, because financially and business-wise, there might be an advantage in there. So I felt it prudent, because I'm always after the next man's chair, and that man knows that. So I thought, I'll look into this. And that's why I dragged my heels, and then I realised it was getting more intense, and they actually showed themselves up. And it got to a point where I had to be told what and why.
Yeah. And it became apparent there's much more to this than met the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about that can you say here?
What, genetics?
Try it. Yeah.
Okay.
This is now entering another huge area of this playing field, right?
Yeah. This is the problem you're going to have. Do you remember when we first spoke? When we decided that we said that we're going to go off in different fields, and you could spend 6 hours on each one.
Absolutely.
And I'm not even an educated man, so it's going to be hard for me to. So that makes the problem, the process even longer, doesn't it? But yeah, so genetically, there are lines of people, and those people have been around that genetic line, not family name, although that does often go in hand. Those genetic lines of people have known things for many, many years, thousands of years, and it's put them in a prominent position. 98% of the money with 2% of the people. Is it really that hard to understand?
Yeah.
That if you've got the money, you're not going to let it go.
Yeah.
And if you've got the money, people are going to come to you with their ideas. So you get the jump on everybody else. And if you decide not to publish that idea, and that idea is handy for your business.
Yeah.
Is it really that far-fetched? Is it that hard for people to understand that if you've got an advantage at every step of the way, that you're going to end up in charge?
Yeah. What we're talking about, just for other people's benefit, is what other writers and presenters are talking about bloodlines.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We're talking about bloodlines.
Yeah. And there are hundreds and hundreds of bloodlines, but most of them don't matter. There's probably about 427 that are probably relevant, and they're controlled by 33.
33 bloodlines.
Yeah.
And the 33 bloodlines, would it be correct to say that they're on the inside
They are the inside.
They are the inside.
Yeah.
They determine what's inside and what's outside.
Yeah.
Okay. And they know what's going on. They know the whole story.
Yes.
And the others.
And that's where the story gets crazy.
And that's when
I'm not really part of that.
I understand.
And I'm not actually in with that. You know me as a person, and you know
Yes.
that I'm very down to earth.
Yeah.
And I'm not a flower child in any way. And to me, it's a complete load of nonsense. But it's their religion.
Yes.
And it didn't matter to me because it makes me money.
Yes. Yes.
That's at the early stage. Of course, I realised as I'm an older man and that I haven't actually got an awful lot of time left, that maybe I'm going to kick them in the nuts on the way
Yes.
out.
Yes. Right. Why is it that, in using your words, that you want to kick them in the nuts, and you're using this opportunity to do it in a way? In a way. Is it okay to say that on record?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it? Why would you want to do that?
Because I can.
Okay.
I really can't give you a better answer than that.
Okay.
You know my character now. It's what I do, isn't it? It's why I'm. It's the ability I've got.
Yes.
It's the unpredictable ability that I've got.
Yeah.
So you can't turn it off, can you? I've got myself in trouble before with it, you know. So it's not a case of. You know, someone's not mentally ill if they can suddenly behave themselves when the police turn up.
Right. Catch-22.
Yeah, they're not mentally ill because they've behaved themselves.
Yeah.
If they carry on going completely crazy and attack the police, then it's a fair assumption that they are actually quite ill.
Yes.
If you see what I mean.
I understand what you're saying.
So I can't turn it off. I really
Yes.
am what I am. That is actually letting it run out. That interference was part of it.
Yes.
You know, that is the argument that is always going on.
Yes.
And it's a chicken and egg, isn't it? You know, is he interfering or is he meant to interfere?
Is it? Yes. It's like, is the interference actually part of the natural process?
Part of the natural process.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If the lion jumps on the deer, is that interference?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it's just the lion doing, etc.,
Yeah, that's
etc.
right. Yeah. Was it cruel? It's not. No,
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah. I
And
understand.
you can put that into in the world as well. You know, the politics, the energy crisis, etc. You know, they're letting it play out.
With some tweaking and steering. Maybe, is that an understatement?
Well, this is
Or-
what we're saying. Is
yeah.
tweaking and steering. Is
Is
the
it-
human race interference for the planet,
Right.
or was it meant to happen?
Yes.
All right. So we make a big mess of it. Yeah. A couple of million years go by. Does it matter? Of course
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
If the planet's black, what form of life comes next?
Yeah.
Was it meant to?
Okay.
So so I don't get involved in that. And as I said, my feet are on the ground. I don't care about all that. That's their argument. You've asked me to explain it.
Okay.
I've done it as best as I can, but I'm not really interested in it.
I think that's very clear. I think it's amazingly interesting, and of course, here I can say that
I find it excruciatingly boring. There you go. But then I didn't like history.
Well, right, yes, it's off record. Is what you've always. I mean, in the past when we've spoken off record, you've always referred to it as a history lesson, and you're always interested in the here and now. You're not interested in all the tradition and the history and the background and the context for all of this.
Never been part of it.
Never been part of it, as I understand. But it has been an interesting few months for us both, in a way.
Yeah.
In a way here.
Things are
Because-
always fairly interesting for me anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a little bit more interesting.
Yes. In the sense of the Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times.
Yeah.
Yes, some things have been a bit too interesting.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So just before we get off into lots of different
Yeah, you've got to decide which way you want to
things
go
here.
now.
Yes, I do. I just want to make sure that, I guess to your satisfaction and mine, that we're kind of squared off with how it is that we've got to this point today, nearly at the end of 2010. I'm still standing. So are you.
Yeah.
We're having this conversation now, and this is, in my view, this is pretty huge, because I don't believe anything of this information has ever been released on the public record
Of course
before.
not. No,
Not at all.
absolutely not, no.
And you're taking this sort of on your shoulders to do this. Although you would say, wait a minute, my shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But, and I also know that there are protocols involved here, which we've talked about, which are fascinating, which is that you are not allowed to tell me what to do or to give me advice, because that's interfering with me playing out.
I mean, what would be the point of doing that?
Yeah, right. Because that's interfering again.
Yeah, I find it's me doing it then, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm just up to a dastardly deed as usual.
Yeah, right. So you...
And there doesn't need to be any dastardly action in this. This is something that needs to be, I was going to say pure.
Well, in my view, and we've had this conversation...
which makes me the totally wrong person to do what I've done.
Well, I think it's a wonderful irony here.
Yeah.
At an early stage, you did tell me that it had always been expected that you would do something like this. And you're
a very high up individual has intimated that to me, that I'm only doing what I would have done.
Yes.
That was the phrase that was used.
In other words, putting my own words on this, you are actually a purist showing his true colours at last, even though you were given the direction by the other camp.
Okay. Okay.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, you're explaining it to me more succinctly than I could explain it to you.
Well,
so it's good because it means that you've got what I'm saying.
I believe I've got...
You have definitely, yeah. And that's good because it draws a line under it for me. I can start diminishing my involvement now.
Yeah, right. And just to sort of help to wrap that up, you are actually allowing this to play out in a way that is interesting to everybody, because actually nobody really knows what's going to happen next.
No.
Nobody knows what's going to happen next.
No one does.
Except that it's a fairer contest than it was before. I don't want to use the word fight because I'm not into fighting.
It's not a fight.
It's not a fight.
It's, you know, a river running downhill is rapid at one point and very calm and slowly. That's not a fight, is it?
Yes.
It's just what happens.
It's sort of energy
Sometimes
finding a
it's
resolution.
violent and fast, but sometimes it moves along slowly.
Yes.
You know, when it's moving fast, is that a fight? No, it's just a different momentum.
Yeah.
So no, there's not a fight.
Yeah. It's situations finding a natural resolution of some kind.
That's a much better way of putting it.
Yeah. And so what you want to see, this is a question, what you want to see and what's motivating you is you want to see things find a good natural resolution. And actually there are several times when you've told me off record, off camera, that you don't think I stand a chance.
No, I still don't.
But you're still willing to give me my musket or my lance or whatever like that that I can do something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, you know, may the best man win and all the rest of it, but you reckon I'm probably outgunned.
I know you are.
Metaphorically speaking, outgunned.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But you know, that is... And you say that I would be interested. I'm not going to be around. So you've got to temper that with a little...
Yes.
You know, how interested could I really be?
When you say not going to be around, this is reminding people watching this is because you're terminally ill.
That's right, yeah.
Right. Do you know how long you've got?
2 years.
Something like that.
Yeah, you know exactly how these things can go.
Yeah.
But you know, people have said to me, you know, you're quite resilient, so you could say maybe 3, maybe 4. But you know, that's where it goes for me. And it also might be a point to me that I know, obviously because I got my back to the camera, it's pretty obvious that there is no stardom value in this for me. Far from it. I want nothing to do with that. And this is probably going to be one of the only videos you're ever going to have of me.
Oh, well,
you know, we'll see what goes, but...
Given that the future is unpredictable...
The only reason there'll be another one is because something wasn't clarified.
Okay.
Not because I want to do another one.
I understand that.
That's your job.
Yes. I understand that. Okay. Do you think you will get into trouble for doing this video? For making this video with me?
I would have yesterday, but not today.
Not today?
Because you've decided to do it.
Because I decided to do it. And I say this half in jest, but only half... What's the difference between that and passing the buck?
Very little. Very little.
Okay.
Delegation, I prefer.
Okay. But you're kind of saying that in this natural process you've been describing, if I'm taking the risk on my own shoulders, taking responsibility for it, then that's part of this fair contest which you want to encourage.
Yeah.
And
there are going to be individuals, the original individuals that set me to you, that are going to make it unfair for you. Again, if you can obviously understand that if they've done that once, they will do that again.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And while I'm still around, you won't have any problems.
Right.
That's going to be the level of my involvement from now on. That's it.
Okay. Are you giving me your word on that?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm looking at this guy in the eye. Yeah. Okay. That's very cool. And I didn't mean that in a flippant way, by the way. Yeah. But I do appreciate that. And this is something that you have warned me about many times, actually. And this is something that I appreciate because...
well, it's getting quite sticky at the moment, isn't it?
Things are getting...
Yeah, I mean...
Things are getting interesting. Let's say the stakes are getting... I mean, the chips are piling up on the table.
The man in the street is uneasy. He doesn't know why he's uneasy. He knows there's a monster coming, but doesn't even know what it is.
Yes. Okay, good. Cue the monster. What is this monster we're talking about here? Your words, not mine.
Okay. Let's look at the as you use I'm going to use for your term bloodline.
Right.
Let's say the 33 bloodlines are the monster.
That's not a word that I'm not wanting to use that terminology.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about the monster in regards to what's going to happen.
Yes, that's what I thought you meant.
Right, okay.
I'm not talking about anybody as being monstrous. That's not that's not what I'm doing.
So help me out here.
Yeah. What you
asking me?
Okay. What you were saying was the man in the street is getting uneasy because they sense that there's a monster coming. Yeah. Those were your words.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And by monster I mean, maybe I've used the wrong word actually. By monster I mean the situation is changing. And when anyone's situation changes, it makes them uneasy, doesn't it?
Yes.
Financially, for instance.
Yes.
You know, you've got 10 grand in your bank account on Monday.
Yeah.
Someone commits fraud on you on Wednesday, and on Friday someone is making an injunction on your house.
Yes.
You know, you're not as happy as you were on Monday.
You're right. Yeah. Okay.
So that's what's coming, that kind of thing.
Yes. So financial instability.
Well, I mean, we're not telling anyone anything they don't already know. We're already there's already been financial tinkering. Perhaps let me put this. You know,
yes.
We're on a globe. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and we've got an atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah, and money can't fly.
Right.
Right. So where's it
all gone? Right.
Someone's got it back.
Yeah. You can't have everyone in the world going bankrupt.
If you are, yeah, exactly. If everyone else in the world went bankrupt, well, who decided that, and who's got that money? Where is it kept after that?
It's like having a casino with no chips. It's like, wait a minute, who's got the chips?
Yeah,
someone's got.
Who won them all?
Yeah,
and they're at his house.
Yes, or actually they're in the bank.
There you go.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
and that's very roughly. It's far more complicated than that. But if you basically pull the finger out of the dike, that's what they've done, and that's how they control finances. There isn't someone at the stock exchange who makes a phone call, and there is no plan. It is these individuals are so powerful, and I mean powerful, not rich. They're so powerful because of their wealth that when they remove that wealth from any area, that area collapses.
Right.
And if you want to put, and the world is an area.
Yeah.
But then we get on to the subject of money. Money is a control system. It's nothing to do with money. It's not. Money is nothing. It's no more important than pigeons. It's just it's something that it's a machine.
Yes.
For picking people out.
Yes. I understand that, and I think a lot of people watching this will be aware of this.
The more paper you get together, and by that I mean money.
Yes.
To do that, you have to be a type of individual. Do you want to go this way?
Go on.
To do that, you have to be. If you're, depending on what field you're in, you know. Let's say you're particularly good at acting, and you haven't been discovered, and you land a plum role, and you are paid £2 million to do it. and then you go and invest that £2 million rather than go and buy yourself a house and live the life. You go and invest that in a business, and that nets you £14 million.
Yeah.
And then you invest that, and then you get another role.
Yeah.
This will be noticed, and as your accumulation gets to a point, you will be approached.
Yes.
And the reason you'll be approached is because to get that kind of money together, everyone in the street will tell you you're not a nice guy. You don't get that way by being a nice guy. You can get inherited money and be a nice guy, and you won't have it very long.
Or you could be very, very smart. You don't have to play dirty to get money, do you?
Yes, you do.
You do?
Yeah, I think you do, yeah.
Okay.
And that's a personal opinion, and it's also, and that is a fact. It's my personal opinion, but it's also a fact. If you want to hang on to your money, you're going to have to develop a thicker skin. And in developing that thicker skin, you will understand what they are going to explain to you.
Okay.
It will make you susceptible. You have to.
Okay.
Or just give your money away.
Okay.
Which is never going to happen. Because why would you try to accumulate it in the first place?
Yes, right.
You could put a word on it and say greed, but it's far more complex than that.
Okay.
Insecurity. People, look at me, I came from a very weak background, and I can assure you that getting money together was a way of increasing my security.
Yes.
So that wasn't greed.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So it's a system. And you can look at actors, athletes, businessmen, any walk of life. They are judged on what?
Well, certainly one of the things people are judged on in this is
their particular talent. Let's put that to one side.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Their particular talent.
Yeah, okay, right.
Is obviously, that's how they get their fame.
Right.
Okay. So let's put that to one side.
Yeah.
The very next, anyone that matters, let's put it that way, anyone that matters to that individual will judge them on how much money they're making.
Yes.
And that's literally, if you're today's cheese, you're great, I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
If you're 3 day old, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because you've run out of money.
I understand that.
Money goes to money. You heard that saying before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one way in which, as we said just 5 minutes ago, this is what the man in the street, the person in the street is becoming concerned about, because there are financial games being played of all kinds, and they're taking the chips back off the table and so on. So people are saying, hey, where all the chips have gone, etc. What else is happening? That's sort of old news.
Yeah, exactly.
As you said, that's sort of old
everyone
news.
knows. Yeah.
And that's something that's been happening for a little while now.
Yeah.
But what's coming at us? What changes might we see in the world, on the planet, in the next few years? A lot of people really want to know that. Can you tell us anything about that? Either what you think, what you've heard, or what you know.
Well, the first thing to say about that, and is really important, is there is no, 2012, still rubbish, complete rubbish, all of it. And I don't mean that to upset people. I know they understand and believe what they believe, and I know they've got what they call evidence, but they're basing their evidence on an education that was complete nonsense in the first place.
Yes, and there's been a lot of disinformation that's been injected into the alternative community to provide people a way of chasing their tails forever and not looking at the real issues.
And then you've got the media. Right? A car crash is far more interesting than the motorway with everything happening fine.
Okay, right. Yeah.
You see what I mean by that? If there's an opponent, the whole thing's easy, much more interesting, and it keeps you looking that way.
Yes. Okay.
So they're very happy for if I can say people like you, and I don't mean it in that way, but you know what I mean. The alternative media.
Yes.
They're very happy for you to do what you're doing.
To be talking up the esoteric significance of 2012.
Yeah, the crazier the story, the more rolls of laughter are heard.
Okay.
And they have been watched.
Yes. Right.
Over cigars and whiskey. I've seen them roll with laughter over things. Because sometimes you get things right.
Mm-hmm. What, you mean like a lucky hit?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, in the public domain, quite often, really, if you could piece it all together, it's all there. And individuals have got it right on the money in the total wrong context.
Okay.
So that is very funny.
Yes.
From this point of view.
Okay. So what you're kind of describing is that all of this, to some degree, is being regarded as, sometimes it's regarded as entertainment. It's just like, look at what
you guys are regarded as entertainment. Yeah, that's a very fair comment.
Yeah. Look at what this tweet
because
is saying.
Because they don't consider you a threat.
Right.
Well, not I say you, the alternative media.
Yes.
not you.
Okay.
What you don't want is anyone being taken seriously. What you don't want is someone who's going to coherently put an argument together, is willing to listen to the discourse, and come back with a different version, adapted.